Welcome to Living Well with MS. This show comes to you from Overcoming MS, the world's leading multiple sclerosis healthy lifestyle charity, which helps people live a full and healthy life through the Overcoming MS program. We interview a range of experts and people with multiple sclerosis. Please remember, all opinions expressed are their own. Receive monthly tips and ideas about living well with MS by signing up for our newsletter at overcomingms.org/newsletter. And now, let's meet our guest.
Hello and welcome to today's Overcoming MS podcast recording with Rob Carter, who is our head of fundraising at Overcoming MS. And I am Alex Holden. I'm the chief executive of Overcoming MS. And today we're going to have a chat about fundraising, about the need for fundraising, and about different ways of getting involved with Overcoming MS in the near future. Rob, do you want to just start off? Introduce yourself above what I've already done. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your career, and how you've ended up here at Overcoming MS.
Thanks, Alex. Happy to do so. I've been involved in fundraising probably for more years than I care to admit, but it's been since the last millennium, let's put it that way. And I've worked for a variety of different charities, third sector organisations, in a youth volunteering charity that was called The Inspired. I've worked for the Royal College of Surgeons of England. I've worked for a couple of music organisations, Youth Music, Royal Academy of Music, Fight for Sight and Vision Foundation, two sight loss charities. And the MS Trust as well, which was a role, I suppose, most similar to the role that I'm taking on at Overcoming MS. And the reason really that MS has got such a special place in my heart is that my ex-wife was diagnosed with MS in 2002. And at that time, obviously, it was before Overcoming MS existed as an organisation. And it was a real kind of bolt from the blue from us. I think absolutely for my ex-wife and obviously for me as well. And we felt a bit cast adrift, I think, in terms of what information was available, what we could practically do in order to accommodate this kind of complete change of life and lifestyle into our lives. And after reflect back on that and think, well, if Overcoming MS had been available as an organisation at that point, it would have been incredibly helpful. As it was, we did find support from some other MS organisations, and as a result, I fundraised for one of those organisations. I did the London Marathon in 2005, which was an amazing experience, and then I went on to work for the MS Trust a bit later on as well.
I'm not sure you've ever told me you've done the London Marathon before. You've set yourself up for a project in the future there, I think. It's you, when you say that, it just echoes the conversations I've had with so many members of our community, particularly people who were diagnosed before Overcoming MS existed, and also people who were diagnosed before any form of medication existed as well. And that's great that so much progress has been made, but just so difficult to go through that. And I think at our retreats, we have a session for partners to talk. And obviously we have a section on the Live Well Hub as well for partners and family members. And it's difficult for you as well as the person who's diagnosed. I think it's important to reflect on that. But what about, clearly a huge variety of experience there. What is it about Overcoming MS, do you think, that makes us different, that makes us stand out? Why fundraising here? What is it that's standing out for you?
I think there's a couple of different elements to it. One is there's a real and genuine sense of hope. There's a real sense that the Overcoming MS programme and the services and the products that we offer can help people. It's a dread word sometimes to use, but it can empower people. It can absolutely enable people to find a way of living well with MS, and it's a genuine offer, and it's obviously it's an evidence-based offer as well. So that's a really important component, I think, and I'm absolutely not here to disparage any other organisations, but there's a real sense of people can come together, and I think that's the second second part to what really drew me to Overcoming MS is the sense of community, the fact that it's such an engaged and inclusive and mutually supportive community, and that extends across the staff team and the trustees and facilitators and other volunteers, as well as the community of people, and often they're combinations of those, but the people that we support and who support each other as well. So it's a fabulous organisation to work for.
Yeah, people listening to the podcast will have just heard me going, yep, because I could not agree more strongly that the community of which we are now a part is so strong and really does bring people together, and it's the community as much as the services that we deliver that makes us special, I think. I'm also conscious we're talking about fundraising, but not everybody will understand what fundraising actually is and why it's such an essential part of what we do. And I'm also conscious that fundraising doesn't necessarily always have a particularly positive reputation in the media. So I think it's probably important for us to just talk about what actually is fundraising, Rob, and why is it important for Overcoming MS?
Well, to start with the second half of that question first, I think why it's so important to Overcoming MS is that we simply wouldn't be able to offer any of the services, the products, the support that we offer without voluntary contributions. We're a charitable organisation, so whereas a commercial organisation can set fees, can charge people for its services. Obviously, a public sector organisation can get money from central or local government. They're not options that are so available to us. Not to say they're completely separate from us, but we are an organisation that relies on donations. We don't actually receive any government funding. We don't sell our products in the majority of cases. We're providing free, high quality services and products for people, but there's a cost that's associated with that. There's clearly a cost to ensure that the stuff that we produce is evidence-based, as we've already talked about, that it's timely, that it's relevant information, and that costs money. It does cost money for us to be able to provide that really kind of high-quality evidence-based based service. And then in terms of fundraising more generally and what it is, it can feel a bit arcane, a bit esoteric, a bit grubby, I think it's fair to say sometimes, and that's I don't want to shy away from that. And absolutely, you do hear stories in the media about organisations that appear to be betraying the public's trust, and that's something as a fundraiser I'm particularly attuned to as well. So the sense that at Overcoming MS that we keep our costs to the absolute minimum in terms of the services we provide, and 76p of every pound that we spend gets spent on those products and services. I'm using that phrase a lot, I know, but the products and services that we provide for our community. And for every pound that we spend on fundraising, £5 is generated from that. So both those metrics give me some sense of reassurance, actually, that we're really effective stewards of the money that people give us, and we never take that for granted. We're never complacent about people that support.
It's a conversation that you and I often have, isn't it? It's and I think for charities, it's so important. It's not just raising money, but it's how we raise the money. And I know in terms of a value base for both you and I, it's important that we're doing it in the right way and that we're doing it exactly as you're saying. We're doing it ethically, we're following all the right rules and regulations, and that we know it's having an impact. So actually those figures you're quoting there, raising £5 for every £1 that we invest and the amount that we spend on our fundraising, we have to do it. Everything that we provide is free, other than our retreats, which people pay for, but everything else is free, and we cannot do that unless we fundraise. But it's so important that we do it in the right way. We have to take those responsibilities really seriously. So tell us a bit more. What is fundraising? What do we mean by fundraising, Rob?
So there's various choices. I mean, people will have seen telethons. If you're in the UK, obviously Comic Relief or Children in Need, but elsewhere in the world, you'll have seen those as well, where people can do daft things to raise money. And that's absolutely an element of fundraising. It doesn't have to be daft, but the classic example of someone laying in a bath of baked beans. I don't think I've ever actually seen someone lay in a bath of baked beans. It must have happened at some point, but that's can be a way of raising money, as indeed kind of getting involved in triathlons or marathons or cycling events, all those kind of things. So there's a huge element of community fundraising where people are doing things, but it might be putting on a bake sale or having a quiz night or hosting a bingo night, something like that. Those are all ways that people can generate money. But that's only one element of fundraising. So there are also grant-making trusts and foundations, so organisations that are out there that are set up themselves as charitable organisations to give away money. And that may well be that a wealthy person at some point in the past, or maybe a company or a collection of individuals have come together to make money available for charitable purposes. So we can apply to those trusts and foundations for funding. And some will say yes, which is wonderful when they do. But it's a highly competitive field, as you can imagine. That there are lots and lots of trust fundraisers out there trying to receive the same funds from relatively small pools of funding. So that's absolutely a place, and it's a place that we obviously go to as well in terms of trying to receive funding for our projects that we deliver. Companies will support, so that may well be through staff fundraising activities. It may be through offering payroll giving. So it's a system, again, available in the UK, but I know it's available elsewhere in the world in different guises as well, where you can give a proportion of your salary to a charitable cause before tax. So it's a tax efficient way of giving as well. There are legacies, so people can write a charity or charitable cause into their wills, and these can be obviously transformational gifts, and anyone can write a legacy. You don't have to be a wealthy or consider yourself to be a wealthy person in order to be able to leave a gift, and a gift that could be really significant to a charity. Once you've looked after your loved ones, you've taken care of the people that mean the most to you, there's still absolutely opportunities to leave gifts in wills. And it's one of the areas I'm particularly keen on promoting because, again, in the UK, but this is true across the world, a smaller proportion than you might think actually do leave a charitable gift, which is a shame, because it may well be that people just haven't considered that a charity that has really meant something to them in their lives, they can continue to support that charity after they're no longer with us. There are other ways as well. So there's individual giving. So people can decide, obviously, to make a cash donation to a charity, or to set up a regular gift, and we'll talk a bit more about that perhaps later on. But there's a whole range of different ways that people can get involved in fundraising, and it's a joy. I mean, as a fundraiser, one of the most satisfying elements of the role is that people can really feel a sense of purpose and a sense of joy. I mean, the hackneyed phrase is putting the fun into fundraising, but there is a real sense of joy in terms of being able to give something, either your time in terms of taking part in fundraising, or your own money if you're in the position to be able to do that, which really meets individuals' needs as well as obviously meeting the needs of the organisations that they're supporting.
It's back to that sense of community, isn't it, which we started off talking about at the beginning of the podcast, but so much of fundraising actually is about bringing people together and sharing experiences and meeting new people, or having a great time with people you know really well. And the raising of money is often quite incidental to that. Often it's sort of an excuse for bringing people together, and it can be really good fun. And I think you make a really good point. There's probably a whole separate series of podcasts about the culture of philanthropy in different countries. Obviously, we're a global organisation, and it is a very different culture of giving in different places. But it is important to say that it's actually tiny donations and what people can afford are just as valuable as the bigger donations, and that volume of the more people we're able to reach and the more people who donate, that has such power as well. It's the power of people's voices as well as the money that they're donating, which I think is key.
Absolutely.
Talking of people's voices, I see a lot on social media, on our Friday fundraisers and on our website, and just from our conversations around some really amazing people doing some really fun things. And you share photos every now and again of what people have been up to, which are brilliant. Do you want to give us a couple of examples of things people have done that have been particularly creative?
I'd love to, and you'll have to stop me, Alex, because I could go on for another couple of hours, I think. But so people like Jane and Ian, who are very unassuming but incredible couple based in Devon, who got involved in what they called the door-to-door challenge. So they, Ian cycled and Jane followed in their motorhome Celeste, cycled from Devon to the Pyrenees, just the 950 miles. And they did that in 16 days, and they raised £6,000 and counting, actually, in excess of £6,000 kind of doing that. And that was just an incredible activity based on their own kind of lived experience of MS. Someone like Raf Jackson, who is an incredible young man who's literally following in the footsteps of his father and older brother, Ted and Oscar, in terms of getting involved in unbelievably kind of impressive challenges as far as I'm concerned. He did the Antarctic Ultra Challenge for us last year, which is 50 miles across Antarctica, raising over £20,000. And again, there's a family connection there to MS. And I'm sure they won't mind me saying, because they're public, the mum, Sophie, has got MS. And it's been incredible how the family have got involved. Ted has been fundraising for Overcoming MS for almost as long as Overcoming MS has been around, and has raised hundreds of thousands of pounds for us, and raised awareness as well. And they're incredible examples of what people have done. More recently, someone like Bella has got involved in the Cambridge Half Marathon for us, and again, there's a family connection that she's has run that for us. There's a chap called Chris Holdroyd, who's with a group of 8 friends, and hopefully they'll remain friends afterwards as well. But they're over a 24-hour period, they're running. Let me get this right. I've got it written down, so I'll make sure I do get it right. They're running 10 kilometres every 4 hours for 24 hours around Leeds city centre. Now, what Leeds city centre is going to be like at 4 o'clock in the morning for running, I'm not entirely clear, but that's something that's coming up in July, and it's just an incredible example of how people, and again, that sense of community as well, kind of bringing together friends, family to get involved in fundraising as well. And there are many, many more examples, as you can probably tell, Alex, that I could share, but perhaps I should stop there, else we'll run out of tape.
Well, tell everyone to go to our social media pages, because there's always it's every Friday, isn't there, that there's a shout out for someone. But sometimes I like the simple ideas. I am a big fan. I know they're a bit dated now, but I'm a big fan of a sweepstake. Every time there's a World Cup or something comes around and everybody puts in £1 or £5. I mean, it's not huge amounts, but every penny helps. It really does. And again, it's a way of bringing people together for a shared interest. For example, football or a race or a TV program or whatever the sweepstakes about, but also gives you a stake in the outcome as well. So it always makes it more interesting as well. She says, you can tell I'm not a huge football fan, but if I've got money in it, I'm excited.
Well, you don't pick England, you're normally okay. Yes.
Yeah, I never get England. So there's people, you've sort of given us examples then of people who've clearly fitted around their own interests. So people who are runners, or people who are bakers, or people who are cyclists. But what about people who just don't know what to do and are thinking, I just want it organised for me? Do we have any options for them, Rob?
I'm glad you asked, Alex. Yes, we've got a couple. In fact, one's coming up very shortly when this podcast has gone out. So on the 7th of June, we've got people taking part in the Earwidfa Snowdon, as it's known in English, the Snowdon Sunrise Trek, and that's an opportunity for people to climb Snowdon and see an incredible sunrise at the end of it. We also have an event happening on the 12th of October, Sunday the 12th of October, which is the Hadrian's Wall trek, and this is a trek of 22 kilometres, I think, in total, across Hadrian's Wall. The most scenic parts of Hadrian's Wall, you'll go past the Sycamore Gap. Unfortunately, it is a gap without a sycamore now, but it's an incredible experience. And it will be a great opportunity for people to meet other members of the community, as well as perhaps family or friends that want to come along with them. And both those opportunities are advertised on the website. We've also got a whole range of different challenge events that people can get involved with as well, that are listed on on the website, and they absolutely will include marathons and half marathons, but they include shorter obstacle races that you can do with your whole family, and different kind of walking events as well. So absolutely, there is something for everyone there.
And what about sort of the non-physical? What about people who don't want to, or of course aren't able to take part in a physical challenge? How can those people get involved?
Absolutely. We've got an A to Z of fundraising challenge opportunities on listed on the website, and so. But it's not all about people that can run or cycle or swim. So if people want to get involved in putting together an art auction, for example, or if they want to put together a bingo night or a cake sale, or it could be a zip wire challenge or a Zumbathon. I mean, and that's gone from absolutely from A to Z. But thinking about elements of the Overcoming MS program, the pillars as well. So if there's something around nutrition that would work in terms of putting together some beautiful kind of tasty Overcoming MS treats and using that as a way of engaging people and raising some money, some funds. Likewise with mindfulness and meditation, getting engaged in a mindfulness activity, and again inviting people to support through donations. So there are all sorts of ways. Obviously, for vitamin D, as we come into what will hopefully be a nice warm summer here in the UK and Europe, then there's opportunities for going out, having picnics, having garden parties, things that will raise awareness, but also raise money for the charity.
Brilliant. And a plug for the team, because I know if people get in contact with you or Melissa, who's also in our fundraising team, that you guys can offer support and materials and advice, and are always there to be helpful, aren't you?
Absolutely. We're only a click away or a phone call away. So fundraising at overcomingms.org is the best way to come through. And please do get in contact. However wild or wacky or unsure you are about fundraising activity that you might want to get involved with, contact us, let us know, and we'll be there to support you.
Even if they're downright sensible. They don't need to be wild or wacky. They can be downright sensible. Well, and people can hear that you're very nice and warm and friendly on this podcast, but and Melissa is as well. So that's my personal plug for the fundraising team. They're great. Do get in touch.
Oh, thank you.
Regular donations. Talk to us a bit about regular giving, because that's sort of a term, again, that's used often in fundraising. What is regular giving? Why does that make a difference?
I mean, it's incredibly important to almost every charity, partly because it tends to be, as the name suggests, a regular and predictable source of income. So someone that signs up, normally by direct debit, again in the UK, sets an amount that they want to give to a charity on a monthly basis. So that might be £5, it might be £10. It can be any amount. It's whatever amount can works for them. But one of the great joys about regular giving is that obviously it's something that many people can get involved with. So just thinking about this podcast series, the podcast that we're featuring on now, the costs of that to us to run as a charity around about £18,000 a year. So if a fifth of the people listening to this podcast were able to make a regular gift of £5 a month, that would pay for this for the year's kind of podcast budget, which is an incredible thing for people to accomplish collectively, and really absolutely at a level that is affordable for them and that they can control. And one thing I would say as well at the moment, as this podcast has gone out in June 2025, is that we're running a little campaign to promote regular giving. So during this month, if you do sign up to a regular gift, you'll receive an Overcoming MS pin badge, which is very desirable little commodity, and it's something we'll send out as a tangible thank you for people that get involved in setting up a regular gift.
Highly desirable. They only go to the special people. I suppose also from my point of view, sort of as a non-fundraiser, as a chief exec, in terms of balancing budgets, the joy for me about regular donations is it's the planning. It just means that I know, because with fundraising, with an organisation like Overcoming MS, every year we're starting again from the beginning. So it's the predictability of being able to go, no, we can deliver that next year. We can plan to have that event next year, or we know that we'll be able to deliver the podcast or the webinars or whatever it is, because we've got the regular donations coming in. That's what gives us the ability to plan. It's the ad hoc income, which is amazing and fantastic, but because we can't guarantee it, we're often then sort of planning in reverse. So it's those regular donations as a chief exec's point of view, they're so essential, because it means I can go, yes, we can do that next year and that the year ahead, because I know that money will be coming in for us.
Indeed.
What about non-financial support? Because yes, we need the money, absolutely. We can't deliver what we do, and we can't offer the support that we offer for free if we don't get that fundraising coming in. But there's absolutely loads of ways that we would encourage people to get involved, even if they're not able to financially. And of course, a lot of people just aren't able to financially. We know that, that's okay. You know, we recognise that. But how can those people get involved, Rob?
Well, there are ways that you can support us financially without actually putting your hand in your own pocket, which sounds too good to be true. But there are schemes, again, running in the UK, but there are similar schemes I know that operate elsewhere in the world as well, called things like Give As You Live, Easy Fundraising. They're two of the programs that we've signed up to, which basically are online shopping platforms. And as you do your online shop on a huge range of different products from a huge range of different retailers, a proportion of that, the money that you spend with those retailers, it may be 1 or 2%, it may be a little bit more in some instances, but that will be then directed to a charity of your choice. So at no cost to you, you're buying a product that you would otherwise be buying, but a proportion of that sale price will come to us as a charity. And again, aggregated up across thousands of people potentially that we can reach, even if it's you're not doing a huge amount of shopping, you're just doing a little bit of shopping, that all adds up, absolutely. But clearly there are kind of fundraising opportunities to be involved with with Overcoming MS as well. So there are a range of volunteering opportunities. So you can volunteer as an ambassador, be a person that facilitates our circles, our communities coming together. You might want to volunteer to join our communications advisory group and really help us in terms of how we plan out our activities and how we communicate with the community. There are other digital opportunities for people to get involved in volunteering as well, and we're bringing more and more of those on stream all the time. But also, I would say, just by being an engaged member of the Live Well Hub. I mean, if you're involved on the Hub, sign up to the Hub in the first instance and then get involved in the communications there. You'll find that incredibly valuable. You'll find lots of information, a community, a real sense of belonging and inclusiveness, but you'll be able to help others as well by sharing your own experiences, your own advice, your own insight and tips, whether it's following the program specifically or other elements of your life within or without MS. I mean, it's a really incredible community that people can get involved in, and it's there for people, and it will only continue to be there as long as people are continuing to contribute there.
And there's always ad hoc sort of volunteering opportunities. We don't know. Everybody's so unique, aren't they? We don't know everybody's unique experiences and what they can contribute. I'm very conscious that I'm doing a not as good job of hosting and interviewing you as Jeff, our regular interviewer, would do, who's a volunteer and does an absolutely brilliant job on our podcast. We've had a lady who's been in contact recently to support us with looking at some data processing. You know, we've no idea what skills people have that are very unique to them. And I think that's in terms of skills contribution as well as financial contributions. Everyone's got to do what's right for them and what fits with them. You know, that's essential, and that's what makes our community. It's what makes us all unique, is we've all got to do what's right for us. So I think that's do get in contact, I think probably is the main message, isn't it? People Absolutely. Would like to be more involved. Yeah, absolutely. We're just basically setting you up so everyone's going to be emailing you, Rob. This is it. You're going to be bombarded by people wanting to give ideas and suggestions and opportunities.
Oh, bring it on. That's the best part of the job as a fundraiser, being able to engage with the community. And genuinely, That's absolutely, I'd much rather have too many emails that it feels like to respond to, then not enough. That's absolutely
yeah, completely agree. Best part of my job as well. Anything else for today, Rob, that you'd like to talk to people about fundraising, about income generally, or yourself?
Probably nothing about myself that I need to share, although I'm now going to have to dust out my running shoes. I appreciate it was 20 years ago that I did my last marathon, so I'm not quite sure.
Never too late. Never too late.
You'll never know. I am going to take part in the Hadrian's Wall trek, so that will be a way that I can get involved. And no, all I would like to say as I finish is that Overcoming MS is a truly remarkable organisation, and it only exists and it only is as remarkable as it is because of the community of people that are involved with it. And if you can get involved as a fundraiser, that's wonderful. If there is a way that you can contribute, that's wonderful. But if that's not right for you at the moment, if you're able to get involved in the community in another way, that's wonderful as well. And even if you're not able to do that at the moment, perhaps you will at future, in a future point, and we'll be here, we'll be ready for you.
Yes, at any point, just exactly the community. You have to do what works for you at any particular time, and we will be here when anyone is ready to get in touch. Absolutely. Thanks, Rob. Lovely to hear from you. And thank you to everybody for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Living Well with MS. Please check out this episode's show notes at overcomingms.org/podcast. You'll find useful links and bonus information there. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and please rate and review the show to help others find us. This show is made possible by the Overcoming MS community. Our theme music is by Claire and Nav Dean. Our host is Jeff Alex. Our videos are edited by Lorna Greenwood, and I'm the producer, Regina Beach. Have questions or ideas to share? Email us at podcast@overcomingms.org. We'd love to hear from you. The Living Well with MS podcast is for private, non-commercial use and exists to educate and inspire our community of listeners. We do not offer medical advice. For medical advice, please contact your doctor or other licensed healthcare professional.